Stop being harsh on yourself for being different or unique. Welcome to Sabba Says Stuff, where I'm Sabba and I say stuff. And today we're talking about being different, unique, beauty standards, differences both visually and also mentally, personality-wise, stuff like that. I was randomly thinking about this because I just took a shower and I have hip dips, and it made me think about how there's this huge trend where like people hate hip dips and like people try to work them out to like fill them out and stuff like that. I say people, I've also fallen victim to that. When you really think of it, it is bone structured. Like, that's the way you're born. It's comparable to saying you wish you were born with longer legs, longer limbs, a different skin tone. You can't control it. I have some notes that I'm looking down at, but we're all different and that's great. Variety is the spice of life. I know it's tacky, but it's a saying for a reason. Differences in variety makes people interesting. I also wrote down for vacation, you go to different locations because the differences in location make them interesting and it makes you want to tour them, and it makes life worth living being able to look at the differences. Another example I had was if everyone was the same, life would be boring. Let's say the idea of having a beauty standard is like wanting to be liked by everyone, wanting everyone to see you as pretty, wanting everyone to be attracted to you, like trying to be someone like the generic type. I said if people only had one type of person they liked and it was only based on looks, you'd be worried about your partner looking at other people and being attracted to them because other people would be the same level of attractiveness as you are to them in their eyes. I hope that makes sense, right? But like, you shouldn't be jealous or worried about your partner looking at other people, but like in a world where the only level of value is beauty and everyone has to live up to the same level and standard of beauty, like that would be scary, right? Like, you never know. There's nothing that makes you special, or there's nothing that's holding you or keeping you as someone of interest in your partner's eyes, right? Another quote I love to say is, you can't hate yourself into a life you love. You can't hate yourself into a body you love. You have to love yourself without needing physical evidence. When we're talking about being different when it comes to beauty levels, you don't have to achieve a certain type of eyebrow, a certain type of makeup, aesthetic to be worthy of love and to be seen as beautiful. You are worthy of it intrinsically. Like, we put all these values out into the world of like, you have to have this to be this level of attractive, you have to be that. There's 8 billion people in the world. Like, hip dips, nose arches. It goes back also to like colonialism, and like, when I think of the word, I'll put it on the screen, of wanting everyone to look a certain way. If you look this way, then you are a bad person. If you look this way, you're a good person. No, there's no meaning. In America, we have one beauty standard. You go to Africa, it's not the same beauty standard. There's 8 billion people. Trying to fit to one beauty standard is just crazy because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I know that's something that's like sort of hard to work on not caring about, or like work on understanding, because before I'd be like, oh yeah, eyes in the beauty of the beholder, but there's a beauty standard and I want to look like it. In reality, beauty is subjective, truly. Like, you may think this one beauty standard you're trying to work towards is going to make your life easier or whatever, but other people don't value that same beauty standard that you may be trying to hold yourself up to. And then also with trying to live up to a beauty standard, well, if your beauty standard is rooted on trying to be accepted by society, that is just like, that's always no. But if there's a beauty standard you have for yourself, like if you want to look a certain way because it makes you happy, then that's great. The point is, you want to be able to feel as beautiful as possible being yourself. With your hair messy, without makeup, with makeup if that makes you feel happy, without, caring what people think of you. Genuinely just loving how you are for yourself, by yourself. Other people liking you too is never gonna make you like yourself. If you don't already like yourself, other people's validation isn't gonna help because you'll never feel like you're worthy of that validation. And also, you can never make yourself something you aren't. The only thing is acceptance. So by that I mean, if there is a beauty standard, where, okay, if it's a nose thing, right? Let's say you can get a nose job or whatever, right? But even those can be botched and over time they can still look bad, but that's a whole other thing. You shouldn't be customizing and doing surgery to base it off a trend, because BBLs are a trend one day and then being very thin is a trend the other day. And even like if you go back to the 2000s, telling people they had a big butt was like, no, don't do that. But now we want big butts. Like, you could do surgery, you'll be fitting into the beauty standard one day, and then 10 years down the line, you gotta reverse it because it's not the standard. You have to learn to accept yourself and see yourself in the mirror and not want to look like anyone else. Look and feel the best that you can by being yourself and looking in the mirror. I said I was going to talk about mental personality too, and not just physical. So with that, oh my gosh, me, I'm a great example of this. I mean, I was always born with a interesting personality, I guess, and that was chill and all. But as a kid, I was like outgoing, you know, release your inhibitions. I was uninhibited. Sorry, I have to remember that song to be like, what's the reverse of it? I was uninhibited being myself, and then as time grew, I got more awareness. 9th grade came and I was just like, oh my gosh, I've been being perceived this whole time. And then I just held back on my personality. I was very anxious, trying to suppress it. Because I was like, okay, I have to suppress it because like parts of me are weird. There's this one standard of personality that you have to be. I was like, instead of trying to be proud and happy of myself, happy about myself, whatever. Years would progress, and then my freshman year of college happened. I joined a dance team. I tried to suppress myself because I was like, oh, like weird, whatever. And that made me feel like I didn't belong, but that was like on me the whole time. And then the next year, I let myself be myself more, and I felt more and more loved the more and more I was just being myself uninhibitedly, unapologetically. And that's the thing, we try to force ourselves into a box of what we think will be socially acceptable by other people, but one, that makes you not like your life, and I guess other people could like it, which personally in my instances, like, there have been times where people have liked it, you know. But for the most part, at least I would feel more loved when I noticed that I was being more myself. So, okay, trying to fit in makes you sad and makes other people maybe like you. You're going on a limb to hope that people will like that personality. Versus being yourself, you filter out the people who aren't meant to be in your life, but you attract the people who love you for you, and you also love your life, right? Like, get the second option. Why would you do the first one? It's not so black and white like that. I know there's nuances and stuff, but trust me, I have lived it, and I have gone through the trenches, like so many different phases of my life, mentally, physically, spiritually, and the best version of my life, which I am living right now currently, is me being myself and not trying to water myself to be accepted into one generic idea of what a normal person is, right? And I made a TikTok once where I was like, there's like a version of being weird that's like quirky and cool, and sometimes I'm like, I don't think I'm that quirky and cool. I think I'm a weird, like I'm just a different weird that's not even in that. And then, you know, people related to that. But that's the thing. You may think like, okay, it's easy for you to say like, you're weird, looks like XYZ, but trust me, there's people out there waiting for your weird. Like, one thing I've learned is don't question someone else's freak. People will match your freak, trust me. But they can't match your freak if you're not being yourself. So, this is sort of a concept I talk about often. Like, being yourself, it's so important. Like, it's one of the biggest lessons I've learned in my life to make me happy was being okay with myself, like wholeheartedly, 360 degrees, physically, mentally, all this stuff. Because at the end of the day, wherever you go, there you are. You only have yourself. And if you're constantly living in a body, in a mindset that you just cannot accept, your life is gonna be very, very hard. It's not a matter of, I mean, some people never learn this lesson, and I feel very bad for them. It really isn't a matter of, oh, I keep this mindset of, oh, I need to change myself, I need to do this, and eventually I'll be okay. No. When you constantly are thinking, I will only be okay when I change XYZ in my life, you're gonna constantly be chasing external stuff to make you feel good inside. And there's a quote that you can only ever be happy when you decide to be happy. You can say, when I change my nose, I'll be happy in the future. When I do, there are rich people out there who, you know, a lot of people like to say, when I have the riches, I'll be happy. You can have that physical thing and still be miserable. You can have the riches and still be miserable. Money doesn't equal happiness. If you want happiness, you gotta feel happiness now. That is a nuanced topic. but I feel very strongly. If you want a happy life, you gotta decide that you wanna be happy now. Life can throw things at you, but you can decide to be unshaken by it. You can decide to, be optimistic and positive no matter what parts of your life you wish you could change. You're in control. At the end of the day, things in the external may be thrown at you, and if it rains, that might be out of your control, but you're in control of how you feel, how you react, all of the mental stuff, right? And if you want to have a happy life with a happy body, with a happy everything, you got to be happy with what you've got right now. That's not to say like you can't wish that you had something different, like a better fashion style, right? But be happy with where you are right now, and you can work towards that fashion style, and you'll be happy now and in the future. 2 birds with 1 stone. That's all I have for this video. Truly, deeply, all I ever want is for everyone to just be happy and content and at peace with themselves. And I hope that this video takes you one step closer to that for you. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.